Gamer, and hello, Sophia. Good to see you. Folks, we started off the show today with Killer Instinct, a game that made a splash at Microsoft's press conference. The splash that this next game made was a little bit bloodier and cringeworthy, but nonetheless very awesome. It's Ryse, Son of Rome, and joining me on stage is PJ, the design director on the game. PJ, welcome to the stage.
Sir? Yeah.
We're super glad to have you guys here. Ryse, of course, a game we first saw at E3 about 2 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
We saw some Kinect action, you know, blocking shields and a headbutt even.
Yes.
The demo you guys showed off the press conference, which we're actually going to take a look at right now, is significantly different and significantly further along. So how have the past 2 years been?
Well, it's been a lot of hard damn work, to be honest.
Yeah, I bet.
So, I mean, a lot of people, talk about like how you made the shift from Kinect and stuff like that into the game. And it's like, we hit a point where like, all right, let's make the game that we want to make. And Microsoft was behind us. Xbox One came about, and so like, all right, let's do this. Let's make the first ever Crytek third-person action adventure. Let's take all of our knowledge from making first-person shooters with these awesome graphics, and let's turn it up to 11. So,
and let's put it back in Rome. We'll put you on the forefront of the battle against assorted barbarians.
Yeah. So the general idea is that you're coming to Dover to quell a rebellion, and you don't realize
Dover, a city on the southern shore of England.
Yes, very good.
Well, I have to thank our GameSpot UK counterparts for that little geography.
I was going to say, people say that Americans are bad at geography.
No, I totally did my research.
All right,
the Roman legions have come up to southern shore of England. Of course, that was well within the extent of the Roman Empire at its peak.
Yes.
And there's a rebellion there trying to throw off the shackles. You're not having that.
No, the Romans want their beach back, right?
Yeah, they do.
And so the general idea is like the whole theme of it was like, okay, let's do a Roman D-Day, and it kind of resonated well with the team. And we're like, let's pull out all the bells and whistles, and let's see what we can do on this box. And whether it's an iPhone or a high-end PC or an Xbox One, we're Crytek. We try to kill it. We try to burn boxes out, and we burned out quite a few. So
nice. You guys, I'm just imagining, you have like etched little Xbox Ones in the wall for each debug unit that you guys burned out making this. And yes, Roman's take on Normandy was certainly what the press conference demo yesterday was evoking, and we'll roll that any minute now. And folks, just to remind you, we're taking questions on Ryse right now, but any game that we are seeing here on Stage 1, GameSpot comments, Twitch TV/GameSpot chat, and on Twitter to #GameSpotE3. I'll bombard PJ all demo long.
Go for it.
Don't even worry about it. But so Ryse, it's a third-person action game. You're playing as
Marius Titus, and the idea is that you're a legionary, right? And basically your father was a general. And the idea is that your family is brutally murdered in front of you. So you kind of go to Britannia to exact your revenge, but you can't fully do it till you get back to Rome. So just give you an idea of kind of where you go or where you come back to during the course of the game. But the very specific lens that we're going for here is the idea that you're part of the Roman Legion. We didn't want to make this lone wolf third-person action adventure game. So while there is like a really kind of deep combat system where you fight alone, most of the time you're fighting with your buddies around you, or you're commanding them in the formations as we showed in the video. So yeah.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of different manifestations of that squad combat thing. One as simple as sort of pressing the bumper and saying, go take that tower, and then your guys sort of focus there. The other one, and the one that I thought was one of the coolest moments, was the phalanx.
Oh yeah. So we went through a lot of iterations to get the formation right, to kind of nail down, like, what is it like to be inside this kind of classic Roman tank and stuff like that. And we banged our heads against the wall. So, shout out to all the devs out there that really kind of, they put their heart on the sleeve and they went for it. And, for the first time, you really get to feel like, you're in a formation. And, Marius Titus is the general during this point. And if you pay close attention, he will yell like towards his men, and you get the full facial on it, So the important thing for this game for Crytek is, we can do draw distances, we can do awesome particles, we have great weather systems in our game, we've had the real-time lighting since, 1999.
Yeah, you guys are well veterans of that.
Yeah. So we were really pushed for this, like, idea of 6 feet to 6 inches, right? Like this, you know, we have full performance capture on Marius. The face in the cinematic is the same face as in the game. So as you're seeing this kind of moment that comes up on the beach, we can smoothly transition in and out of these kind of dynamic, emotional moments.
Yeah, dynamic is certainly the word. The camera angles in and out, in and around the action, very dramatic, highlighting and almost, you know, making it a little tricky at times, I gotta say, as an observer, to tell at what point am I, you know, am I on the sticks, am I pressing buttons, am I doing things, and at what point am I just sort of seeing some brutality play out?
Yeah, totally. And so here, at this point in the beach, like I was actually running forward because I was the one playing the demo on stage, and, you know, we transitioned directly into this cutscene. We wanted to show, okay, Marius, you know, he's a real human. He's not a superhero. He's a man, right? He's a soldier. And the other idea behind him as well is that, you know, he's all about having like a solid core. So as you see in his combat, he'll use his sword and shield, right? And we really set out to try to make the best sword and shield combat game that you've ever played. We did a lot of work with Roman historian, like a weapon historian, how to hold the weapons and all
we've
this
got
stuff.
actually a question in the chat asking about historical accuracy, and that's a question on the GameSpot comments.
Okay, so the actual story itself is not historically. It's a work of fiction, right? But it was because it's just impossible to pick one point in Rome. I mean, the expanse of the empire is so great.
Sure.
And so we kind of tried to do, like, culturally what it was to be Roman, you know, so hence the lens of you're a legionnaire fighting with your guys. Yep.
All right, we also have questions from Croat56 in the GameSpot comments, wondering about any kind of customization for Marcus Tiberius for your character. You know, he's using a shield and the gladius, the Roman sword, right now. Do you get to have any control over your loadout as the action progresses?
Well, we stick with the sword and shield for most of the game, but as you can see, I performed some executions on the stage demo.
Yeah, you did.
And these executions, you'll be able to unlock around 100 of them, right?
Okay.
And each of these executions will have like one of these kind of, you know, execution bonus awards. And so a lot of people thought they were QTEs, so I just wanted to, you know, get that off the table.
So that's a good question.
It's not a QTE.
The button prompts popping up. That's at what point, like, what has happened in your input at that point? If it's not a QTE, if it's not, you know, pop up, hit this, or else you don't something.
Well,
how is it structured?
So I mean, the thing is that when you play other games that have execution moves, you press it, and what happens? It plays a movie, and we're like, oh, I mean that. Like, our combat system is so fluid, we have such good flow. It's like, it just felt wrong, you know, to kind of take control away.
So you just press that button and put it down and watch the carnage play out.
Yeah, exactly. So you can not press the button, but what you do by hitting these kind of very specific beats in the rhythm is you get yourself higher bonuses. So normal people, like, who don't want to kind of master the system, they can just watch the cool execution. But if you want higher bonuses, then you're like, bam, hit the Y, hit the X. And it's always kind of set up for your sword or blunt attack or your shield. And so basically, it's really like with every execution you unlock, you kind of unlock a bit of a mini game to get more bonus rewards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a way to sort of enhance the brutality of that moment.
And it really, through iteration, we found it just felt better that you did something during these cool executions.
Sure.
So that's really the basis of it. And anyone to come, you know, comes down to the booth to play it will kind of quickly understand you can't fail it. It's not a QTE.
Yep.
You know, and you kind of figure out how much you want to engage with it. So.
Okay. Now we're actually seeing some of the squad moments.
Yes.
So, you know, is this? You've gotten up into this castle. You know, in the interest of time, we haven't seen the whole thing, but you've sent your soldiers away to sort of take this objective while you defend here. Is it possible for you to say to your soldiers, stay here and defend, and I'll take this objective? Like, how dynamic are those moments? Are there choice moments where you, in terms of ordering your squad around?
Yeah, so, I mean, for the purposes of the demo, we try to keep it fairly simple because people would have it. But yes, in different parts of the game, you know, there's lots of different options on kind of how you want to use your guys. And it's also important to mention that, you know, we're not showing any of the Kinect stuff yet, but this is actually part of the learnings we had from the Kinect stuff, where like voice just works really well. So actually in the game, you will be, instead of pressing the button, you'll be fighting with the controller. You master your warrior with your voice. You're the general.
Okay.
So you'll just say, archers fire, and these guys will rain down arrows. Or you'll say, guys, man the catapult. They'll man the catapult.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Now, question coming in from the Twitch chat. There's a lot of death going on here. Is it possible for you to die? And is it possible for you to die in a similarly unpleasant way as your foes?
Yeah, we had this, you know, it's this ideal of intimate vitality, And the guys that help us coin this phrase, they'll know who they are. So shout out, to those guys.
Intimate vitality.
Yeah, and so the idea is that, Marius can kill people in cool ways. Well, guess what? The barbarians can kill you in cool ways as well.
Yep.
So
yeah. All right, I like it. Fair play. All right, coming in off Twitter, Sicarius Lupus wants to know approximately how long is this adventure gonna last in Ryse?
Ask us later when we're closer to being done with the game. Okay. It's kind of fluctuating a bit, so yeah.
All right, now your progress on the game. You've been working on it for a couple years. Obviously, some changes in the direction.
Yes.
Which raises the question, are there Kinect moments? Are there Kinect functionality, in addition to the voice commands you mentioned, any kind of camera usage?
Well, I mean, right now, honestly, we're core gamers at Crytek, right?
Sure.
And so the thing that was most important for us was that the Kinect functionality made sense. It's something that I would want to use. And so, that is really our design, ethos on this whole thing. If I'm playing and this moment comes up, I want it to be as quick as simple as possible because I play games to relax. I sit on my couch to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we haven't honestly we have still a lot of prototypes running.
Okay.
On this kind of stuff, but you at least know there'll be voice.
Yep.
And whether there's other things such as gesture or stuff, we'll let you know later. But rest assured, we won't put it in the game if it's lame. So.
We won't put it in. I feel like that should be a motto you guys have.
Should get on a T-shirt.
We don't put it in the game if it's lame.
Hey, damn, that even rhymes.
It does. Yeah. That's why it's a good motto. Yeah. All good mottos rhyme.
Copyright Patrick Esteves, 2013.
Way to claim it. All right, just one or two more questions before we wrap up here. Dan Cameron over Twitter wants to know, will the game have online, and I want to know, any kind of multiplayer experience?
We will have multiplayer in the Coliseum at a later time.
Ooh.
We will reveal more details about it.
About gladiatorial battles?
It's gladiators, man. It is,
I like it.
Awesome sauce, and yes. And
that's exciting.
On top of that, you also have the smart glass stuff, so to kind of track your characters and progression and stuff like that. That's all I'm going to say. I probably said too much, but hey, what the hell.
All right, cool. All right, PJ, this is Ryse, Son of Rome.
Yes.
And when this is coming out for the Xbox One exclusively?
Yes.
And when is that going to happen?
When the Xbox One launches, we'll be there.
Excellent.
On the shelves.
On the launch day title, Ryse, Son of Rome. PJ, thank you so much for coming on stage, showing it off. Folks, we talked about this a little bit during the Super Time Force demo. It's the I Am 8-Bit Gallery here on the show floor. Now that I say that, I'm not sure if they're the same thing as the Into the Pixel Gallery, but in any case, we've got to look at some art here at E3. We'll be back shortly with Titanfall.